We demystify what goes on behind the therapy room door. Join us on this voyage of discovery and co-creative conversations. This is the Therapy Show, Behind Closed Doors podcast.
With Bob Cooke
and Kellie Barratt.
Hello and welcome to the Therapy Show Behind Closed Doors. Here I am, Kellie Barratt, and I'm here with Bob Cooke, the wonderful Mr. Bob Cooke. Sorry, I forgot the accolade.
I love the way you say that.
Are you well?
I'm very well. I am well. Thanks for asking.
Yes, looking forward to your birthday coming up.
Oh, my birthday, not long. I'll be 75.
Wow. You look great for 75.
Oh, thank you for that. I've just had COVID, as I was saying in my last podcast, which I'm recovering from. But I've now got, I had to go to the physio yesterday. I'm just a health wreck. When you hit your 70s, I think all these things happen. Everybody talks about health issues. But I had friction under my knee, which led to fluid, led to seizing up of the thigh. So at the moment, as I speak, talking on the podcast, I've strapped an ice pack around to my knee to try and take the fluid down, because I have to do it 4 times a day for 10 minutes. So we can get the fluid down to do exercises or whatever.
Gosh, so you normally do quite a lot of walking. So have you had to stop walking?
Now my left knee is very cold.
Yes, in the
as I talk to you. So hopefully this podcast will distract me from the freezing cold on my left knee.
Oh, yes, well, I hope so too. And that you don't end up with a puddle around your feet. Melted.
No, I hope so.
So, Bob, we're on episode number 225, and our title today is The Use of Metaphor, Imagery and Storytelling in Psychotherapy.
Now, I am known for somebody who uses narrative and storytelling. Well, I used to be. I don't know, a lot. And for lots of different reasons. The major one is that, people think in stories, but the major one is actually it's a very fluid pathway to the child ego state. Oh,
I've not heard that before.
Younger self. Yes.
Okay.
Well, you think about it. I would think my daughter was born, she was the 16th of February 1999, and for most, I don't know, from the age of 1 or 2 till the age, I used to regularly, almost every night, tell her stories.
Yeah.
And she loved it, and I was very creative with them. And honestly, Kellie, it's the pathway to the child ego state.
Well, now you say it, you kind of think, of course, kids love stories, and hopefully most kids have had stories. And we all love a story. We watch films and Netflix series all the time. I mean, I still read novels, but I know lots of people don't. But I love a story.
Yeah, and there's a way of doing it therapeutically, of course. So you need to come from your nurturing parent channel in the functional sort of model of transactionality, if you want to put it that way. Nurturing parent, lower your voice, make the story dramatic, and you will, by definition, hit the child ego state.
When you say make the story dramatic, do you mean like with a heightener?
No, just raising your voice. And do you know what? Just the monster is around the corner, or perhaps it is. What should we do about it, Jessica? Oh, tell me, that sort of stuff.
Okay. Oh, it's
be an actor.
Yes, yeah. And so, are you suggesting that you get the client to tell their story and then you read it back to them?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I'm suggesting that in the clinical work with clients, there will be times where you may tell them, how can I explain this? you make up narratives that fit into the reparative work.
Okay.
Or you might say things like, when we're talking about not having presence from your dad or your mum, upstairs, I have got a bowl of wonderful pebbles which I collected from a soothsayer on an Indian beach, and they're blue.
You've got me, Bob. I'm in.
That's what I'm saying. You have to take
Okay.
it somewhere else.
Oh, I see. So providing that soothing.
And a narrative story to get into the
Mm.
child. It's not about what I was talking about, Jessica telling stories or stories of me. That's another part of it, by the way. I'm not saying it's not good at all, and certain clinical implications to get people to develop stories.
Mm.
I'm talking about the significant other person, the parent, to provide something they've never had, or
Mm.
a relational need or a deficit, which will have a reparative function.
Mm. It's quite a skill.
Great. You have to have a lot of confidence,
Yeah.
I think.
Hmm.
You have to have an understanding when to use metaphors or narrative work in the treatment. So it needs to
Mm.
be timed well. And you need to be creative.
Yes, that's the word I was thinking of, creative. Yes. And I'm because I can even feel myself going, ooh, I'm not sure I've got those skills.
Mm. It's one I was known for this type of work, in the sense of I always I've always thought I think regressively.
Mm.
I think developmentally.
Yeah.
Often the person will go into regression
Hmm.
to the time of the trauma or the developmental deficit. And at those times, it might need a very nurturing parent
Mm.
who can provide a soothing, reparative uh, pathway to a new world
Mm.
through stories.
Yes, yes. And have you got like a library of stories, or are you just good at making them up on the spot?
Make them all up on the spot. Do it. I have numerous stories about how you get rid of shame,
Okay.
how you get rid of toxicity that you've collected,
Mm.
how you let go of the parental introjects.
Mm.
And I talk that way. So I say, should we do a visualization?
Mm. Mm.
I say yes. And well, I want you to imagine that you're in a dark forest and you're making your way to a shining temple. And in that shining temple, you will find a very wise man who's going to give you some very important information and a wonderful present that might change your life. So shall we go on that journey? So I'm making it up now to you.
Yeah. I'm loving it. Yeah.
It's the sort of visualization and
Mm.
narrative regressive work, which I've always loved doing.
Mm. Yeah, sounds great. I mean, when you say, I'm like, oh, I have done a few things like a Ghostbuster machine to suck up all the depression or the,
Yeah,
um, but yeah, I really like the idea of going on the journey, the moving towards something.
yeah, and it needs to be aimed at a reparative process.
Mm.
Um, letting go of shame, for example,
Hmm.
visualization work where they feel empowered and take ownership to put the shame or the aspects of the shame or the gruesome gobulus of the shame or whatever it is, or the green lurgy which represents the shame, down a well to be washed away to the world of nothingness.
Mm.
It's fantastic. And
Yes, it is.
need
Yeah.
to do the work about what they're going to put in place, which
Mm.
has been done through narrative, by the way. That's a different piece of work. But the narrative and the metaphors and stuff is really to get in the world of the child ego state.
Mm.
Whereas integrating new decisions, which are different,
Hmm.
where you put in a place of shame, is a more older piece of work.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, in terms of development.
Yes. Yeah. So like yeah, so the child ego state is the old they're accessing an older part of themselves rather.
And it's very, I love that type of work.
Mm,
And I metaphors are something which I also like to work with. And of course, I know you do because I've known you for a while. I know how creative you are. And I know I would be very astonished in groups, particularly, that you didn't use a lot of creative mechanisms, like, for example, working with sand tray.
yes, yeah, I have had teddies and
Yeah,
like little kind of miniature toys or rocks or yeah, they're the main things I've got really.
it's something like a load of, like you said, teddies, animals, objects,
Mm,
whatever.
mm. Yeah, yeah. Um, yes, and I like the kind of the teddies in like the family constellation idea. So, so who's, mum, dad, and where's brother? And so you can put them on the floor and then work with that. And a lot can come out from that. If, the teddy's facing out or, how close they are, or a lot does come
Very
out.
creative work.
Yeah.
A lot of imagery.
Mm,
You
yeah.
see, it's all in the pathway to the child ego state
Mm,
because that's where the relational deficit is. It's not in the adult
yes.
now.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm,
So these are really, and I have a good friend of mine who, well, many friends of mine and colleagues who are hypnotherapists, and I was thinking of someone particularly here, colleague of mine, who ran a hypnotherapy school, for example.
yes. Yeah.
So hypnotherapists would
Mm,
be masters at this
mm,
because they need to take people to the alpha state, which
mm,
conscious processes, and metaphors and narrative work. Metaphors, particularly,
mm,
are really useful in this pathway to the unconscious.
yeah. I mean, I am looking at this title and I was like, oh, metaphor, because I tend to use the word analogy in my work a lot. So I will quite often find an analogy to help the client make sense of it. So if they haven't perhaps got the words or they're a bit confused, I might use an analogy to help the client um, know that I'm with them and that I understand. And is it this? Does it feel a little bit like this? Um, and often I mean, transferentially, I've obviously got it from them. So I'll say something and they'll go, yes, that's exactly it, because I've just been picking it up from them. But I do find it is really useful. It
Very useful, Kelly. And you remind me of something I want to say. Is once you work with metaphors, once you work with visualizations, or once you work with imagery, you're working in the regression, you're working in the transference.
mm, yeah,
Because you're the pathways to the child ego state, and you, by definition, will become the parent.
yeah,
Together, and usually the one they never had.
mm,
So usually the nurturing channel is a really important channel to use in the transference.
mm,
It means that therapists stepping into the transference and becoming the desired object that the client never had
yeah,
in the service of reparative therapy.
mm, yes, yes, absolutely. Mm,
So your analogies, your metaphors, the way you just talked there, that the person would feel supported by you, know that you're there, and uh, that's stepping into the transference.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I didn't realize until recently how often I use idioms, which I've just learned I didn't know what an idiom is.
What is an idiom? Tell me what an idiom is. I want to know what an idiom is.
You use a lot of idioms too, Bob. So
Tell
grist
me what they
mill.
are first.
So, well, I don't actually know what the definition is, but it's like a colloquial phrase. So, throw the baby out with the bathwater,
Oh,
or
yes,
all
beautiful.
grist to the mill.
An idiom.
Yes, yes. And I only learnt that because my daughter was doing A-level Spanish and she had to learn an idiom in Spanish.
I never knew that's what an idiom was.
Yes.
Many of them.
Yes, exactly. Because they're really prevalent in my speech, but I think everybody uses them a
Yeah,
lot.
Yes, it's a great word. I'm going to use it as Scrabble because I play Scrabble a bit, and I think it must be a 7-letter word. But I didn't know that's what it meant.
Yes, yeah, but that the client just gets it. You know, you say, "Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater." They know
Yeah,
exactly what you mean. So,
yeah. Now, one of your, I don't know if he's a heroes of yours. I don't know if he's the heroes of mine. He probably isn't, but he has been hugely influential in my whole career, of course, and that's Eric Byrne.
mm,
He was a therapist of his time,
mm,
so not how I've done therapy for most of my life, but I have been influenced by his personality model and a
mm,
lot of his ideas. And one of his ideas, I forget which book he talked about it in, but he talked about the therapist thinking Martian.
oh yes, yes.
He talked about the therapist when they make contracts and things like that, do it that they were asking the client, um, to come from a 9-year-old, to make
Mm,
things very simple and to
mm,
think Martian. And what he's really saying is he's given permission for people to go to a younger place
mm,
to, think about, to declutter their minds in many
mm,
ways. So he talked a lot about intuition as well. Even though he didn't work in the child ego state, I think he understood it.
mm. Yes, yeah, because that's where our intuition lives, isn't it? In our child ego state.
So all of the things we're talking about here are
Mm,
the pathway to the unconscious,
mm,
and you need to step into the transfers to
mm,
do the reparative work
mm,
using imagery, idioms, using all the visualization, sculpturing, whatever words we want to use here. But they're in the child ego state.
mm. Yes, and I'm thinking about people who aren't TA,
Well,
and
the
they,
younger self.
yes, yeah, but they might say something maybe like it accesses a different part of the brain, the
Oh,
visualization.
yeah,
Yeah,
you're a logic. Okay.
yeah, yeah. But it's the same thing, isn't it? It's like you're getting into a different part of your brain. You're getting into your child ego state. It's much
Yeah,
simpler world.
it's just still different language.
Yeah, yeah.
But but I love the word. I love using things like art therapy. It's another thing.
Mm, mm,
Uh, Particularly narrative work,
mm,
particularly visualizations, all those things you were talking about. Now, I think I've probably been helped because I'm neurodivergent in the sense I'm dyslexic and have ADHD, and I'm wired up a bit differently. But creativity is very high with that profile.
Oh, really? In the dyslexia or the ADHD?
ADHD particularly.
Oh, I didn't know that.
One of the strengths of people who have ADHD, if you want to put it that way, is creativity. They're very
Mm.
creative people.
Oh, that's good information. I didn't know.
I think about ADHD is certainly at a psychological level. There's a huge emphasis in the paper and in general about the negative sides of ADHD.
Mm.
I would like to concentrate on the positive sides of
Yeah.
ADHD,
Yeah.
and one of them, big time, is creativity.
Mm.
I mean, there's a lot more multitasking. I could go on, but creativity is really big
Mm.
with people with ADHD.
So, do you think this type of work with clients with ADHD would?
Clients, I was talking about therapists, but with
Yes,
clients,
yeah.
yes, because
Mm.
they're gonna connect with you at a
Mm.
creative world.
Mm. Well, that's good to know,
Yeah.
especially the increase of the diagnoses. So, lots of clients come in now with the diagnosis. So that would be really, it's good to know that.
Well, I was never diagnosed, but I know I have
Mm.
ADHD. My daughter's got ADHD. I know I'm mildly dyslexic. I'm more dyspraxic actually, but all that area comes with great creativity.
Mm. Yeah. And when you say the art therapy, would you do that? I'm thinking, would you get the flip chart out and the pens, or would you get the paints out back in the day?
Oh, back in the day, crayons,
Yeah.
paints. Uh,
Mm.
I'd have crayons mainly.
Mm.
And,
Yeah.
I did a lot of art therapy. I did a lot of what is called sculpturing, which is now in the world of drama therapy and family constellation work.
Mm.
Back in the day, all these things just come round full circle.
Yeah.
They often get different names,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, but they live in the world of yesterday, a lot of them. A
Mm.
lot of these processes in the world of what we're talking about, imagery and creativity and visualization, all that stuff, like we can trace it back to Marino, who was the father of drama therapy.
Oh, okay.
He used visualizations, used sculpturing,
Mm.
used storytelling, used drama,
Mm-hmm.
heavy creativity. A lot of the techniques that Gestalt therapy borrow, transaction analysis from Gestalt therapy from Marino and drama therapy. We could go up the line. They all borrow from these earlier pioneers
Mm.
of these different methodologies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've been it's not the same, but I've been enjoying some Jungian stuff recently.
Oh yes, I said
Yeah.
archetypes.
Yes. So in their myths, so Robert Johnson writes these small, they're very dense. There's often only 50 pages, but they're every line is that kind of someone will have to go back and read it. But they're great, the myths, he and she, and they're so accessible and relevant today, even though they're very old, the myths.
Well, before psychotherapy ever came along, before his psychoanalysis ever came along, he had shamanism.
Yeah.
It was just by different names.
Yes, yes. Yes, because I was thinking actually about the shamanic. I've been reading a shamanic book about their myth, about the Native American myths of female wisdom, and they're fascinating too.
Yeah,
Mm,
absolutely.
mm,
And I think therapists don't follow intuition, don't
mm,
follow their creative spirit, don't follow many of their, well, I'd say creative juices. I think they'll be doing actually a different type of therapy.
yes, yes, that well, I suppose that might be more cognitive.
Cognitive, perhaps many of the different things we could perhaps think about. But um, I would implore all therapists and counsellors to trust their own creativity in
Mm,
the service of the client.
yes, yeah.
In the
Mm,
service of the client. And it's usually the road to the unconscious,
mm, mm,
bigger stage, or whatever language you want to, or different parts of the brain, or whatever you want to say. Um, and it's the metaphors, imagery, visualization, wonderful tools,
mm.
which we all have. Just
Yes, yeah.
we don't have to be trained in that particularly.
Mm, yeah.
It's interesting because I've never put a weekend in any of the training over the last 35 years or whatever it is, like a weekend on, say, creativity
Mm,
in the world of transaction analysis or something.
mm.
I'm now thinking, why the hell haven't I trained? We use all these things that you're talking about, I hope, as a service of the client, and it's usually in their conscious.
Mm, yes. I have received some training about how to do it in couples work, but I still don't bring it out in couples work, about
What
get the
training?
so I did a couple certificate, and there were some different ways of working and were shown. And one of, some of it was like, you get each partner to draw where they think they are, and there's a
That's
comparison. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
unconscious again.
Mm,
To the early scripted TA.
yeah.
You talk to kids at the age of 8, 9, 7, 6. They they talk, they connect in the world of fantasy and
Mm, mm,
imagination, all things we're talking about. And by definition, most of the relational issues we're working with and the deficits are in these younger ages.
mm.
And when we work with the people at these developmental levels, we need to connect in a different way than if we're talking to the older person.
And often clients they're still working with the fantasies, but the scary fantasies of what might happen if they do A, B, or C. So it's still the fantasy is still very present.
Yeah, so the best way to deal with that, by the way,
Mm,
is that the therapist provides a different positive fantasy to put
mm,
in its place, and
mm,
the therapist is encouraged to let go of the um, unhelpful fantasy
mm,
through maybe storytelling, through
mm,
maybe metaphors, through
mm,
maybe uh, I can think of many creative methods, but
mm.
you need to connect with the younger child in a different way than you connect with the adults.
Yes. Yeah. Well, like you would speak to a child sometimes, like it's not the same, is it? You wouldn't start talking about adult things with a young child.
Absolutely, you might talk about magic presence,
Mm.
things that I've met on the road when I met this soothsayer who wanted his new to know that they know how hard it's been for you. However, they have a magic gift for you which will transform your life. Yeah, you got me. It's a different way of
Yeah,
talking.
yeah, yeah.
Different way of talking.
Mm,
It's a different way of connecting.
mm. But just for trainees, we have to make sure that the client is with us when we're lowering our voice and telling the story, that they're coming along. I'm thinking of a
Oh,
client
yeah.
I had once a long time ago, and she was quite disturbed actually. But as I started to lower my voice, she started to say, I know what you're doing, I can hear you lowering your voice. It was quite paranoid. And so it like it wasn't a suitable intervention.
Oh, well, then you would simply say something. Oh, so when I go to a different channel, like a nurturing channel, or lower my voice,
Mm,
does that mean for you?
yeah.
You take them back into the younger self.
Yeah. Yeah, just keep trying. Yeah.
Just go down a different route.
Mm, yeah, and stay
Now,
with that
boy,
process.
you have hit on a really important. I don't know if we've got time to talk about it,
Yeah.
but you have
Yeah.
hit on a really important part of this discussion. That with people with personality disorders, and that's a different story.
Mm,
Because as Eric Burns said, and I agree with this, you don't necessarily encourage people who've got severe personality disorders to go into their past.
mm,
You need to strengthen up, stabilize the adults
mm,
before you do all those techniques or you're
mm,
just talking about
mm,
to get to the unconscious. You work in a different way,
mm,
just stabilizing the adult first.
mm. Yes. So we need to make sure that they can hold on to themselves before we do any regressive work.
100%.
Mm. Yeah.
So, I'm not, you know, I'm not surprised you just told me that story about that
Mm,
client, and you added she might have been quite disturbed.
mm,
Then that took me to thinking about this caveat.
mm,
Someone's got a personality disorder, so it's high on that disturbance continuum.
mm.
Stabilization is the name first.
Yeah. She was very, there was a lot of risky behavior going on. So yeah.
That's a different story.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's a really useful yardstick, I think, to you
Yeah,
know
it
to
really is.
recognize.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was known for this type of work.
Mm,
I
yeah.
would encourage everybody listening to think about what we've been talking about and just think how often do I use analogies, idioms, metaphors, visualization, all these things we've talked about. Now, interestingly enough, I do this supervision certificate over the years. I talk to many therapists and counselors. And when we get to the part of the course in supervision where it's about using metaphors as a supervisor with
Mm,
supervisees, many of them say, well, that's no problem because I use a lot of metaphors as a counselor or therapist.
mm. Oh, so maybe we're all doing it.
I
All,
think
yeah.
I think most people
Mm,
understand the need of
mm,
metaphors.
yeah. It's a wonderful way, a different route, a different access route in, a way in, I think. Mm,
I I probably work with a therapist, well, not probably, I know, who may not have used the metaphor and stuff we're talking about as much as I'm talking about it. So it'll be up to the therapist and counselor listening to this podcast on, their preference. But I just want to say, it's that I think it's good results often. But the caveat is, again, that you do this at appropriate time in the service of the client.
Yes, yes. So it's when the client needs it, as opposed to when we think we could do it or should.
Not for your own narcissism.
Yes. Yeah. But is that a good place to stop, Bob?
Well, you often say this to me at the end of that's telling me that we have to end. But invariably the answer is no. But but I quite happily you say that to me as a way of sort of closing down the 30 minutes. I'm fine stopping, and I'm fine going on, but actually I do need to go and have some tea. So I think, proper physical tea, because I've been working all day. So I think it's a pretty good time to stop, yeah.
Yes. And how's your ice pack on your knee? Is it all melted?
Since I've been talking about this exciting topic, it's totally distracted. There's no puddle on the floor at all. But I do need to take it off. So thanks for reminding me.
Well, I hope it improves by the time we meet again.
Yeah.
And our next episode is going to be ego state analysis in the therapy process.
Oh, well, this is our subject, isn't it? So.
Yeah, I think people are going to enjoy this. The next one, well, hopefully they enjoy every episode, but hopefully it will be appealing.
Yeah, and people who perhaps don't know TA will find it useful as well.
Yeah. Good to see you again, Bob. I'll see you next time.
You will. Bye-bye.
Take care.
You've been listening to The Therapy Show, Behind Closed Doors podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. We'll be back next week with another episode.